Oh, Cyril, I think we messed up, like, big time. It's been a year of running mouths, way down in the south, throwing shade across the ocean, loud and full of doubt. First we said you're ill-informed, didn't think you'd care. Then the ambassador got nasty, floating insults in the air. We poked the bear, we pulled the tail, now we're reading the rejection mail. Ramaphosa started the fire, Green Natasha raised it higher. Vincent and Crispin joined the charade, with Vicky leading the insult parade. We mocked the diplomat, we had a laugh, but now we're looking at the economic graph. Oh, Donald, wait, don't close the gate. Can't we just kiss and make up? We see the G20 list and our name is missed. It's a nightmare from which we need to wake up. Miami is sunny and we need the money to keep the jobs flowing and the trade deal sweet. Put aside the pride, let us back inside. Don't leave us stranded on the lonely street. Can't we just kiss and make up? Cyril was joking, thought he was the boss, but he didn't calculate the total cost. Mocking the envoys, acting so cool, now we look like the kids kicked out of school. You had enough, you drew the line, no Miami ticket, no invite to dine. We're sitting here holding an empty plate, realizing way too late. Magwenya was typing hit and send, thinking the patience would never end. But you saw the clips and you heard the slight, now we're shivering in the diplomatic night. The poverty's high, the struggle is real, we're desperate to sign that trade of peace. Oh, Donald, wait, don't close the gate. Can't we just kiss and make up? We see the G20 list and our name is missed. It's a nightmare from which we need to wake up. Miami is sunny and we need the money to keep the jobs flowing and the trade deal sweet. Put aside the pride, let us back inside. Don't leave us stranded on the lonely street. Can't we just kiss and make up? Oh, we know we said some things that sting. We treated diplomacy like a boxing ring, but the rand is shaken. The people need work, we promise not to act like such a jerk. Swallow the ego, drop the disdain, or we're gonna be left out in the rain. Oh, Donald, wait, don't close the gate. Can't we just kiss and make up? We see the G20 list and our name is missed. It's a nightmare from which we need to wake up. Miami is sunny and we need the money to keep the jobs flowing and the trade deal sweet. Put aside the pride, let us back inside. Don't leave us stranded on the lonely street. Can't we just kiss and make up? Oh, come on, Ainsley, pick up the phone. Don't make us go it alone. And Miami looks nice this time of year. Just one little kiss. Make up, please.
Yeah, indeed. Welcome back. Can't we just kiss and make up? Waiting for President Cyril Ramaphosa to begin his address to the nation in South Africa here on this Sunday, November 30th, 2025, just after noon in the East Coast of the United States. He is expected to come on at 7 p.m. South African time, which would be 2 minutes ago, folks, 2 minutes ago. So he is tardy as always, waiting for him to pop up. So anyway, as soon as he comes up, we'll see what he has to say. The anticipation is that he will be speaking about the G20 and what a great successful summit South Africa had. Whether it had
G20 leader summit
Here we go.
that concluded its work exactly a week ago.
He's not on camera.
Allow me to express my profound
Here he is.
gratitude to you all as my fellow compatriots for ensuring and enabling our beloved country to host a series of successful G20 meetings throughout the year, ending with the G20 Leader Summit. When we launched the G20 presidency a year ago, I said that this must be the people's G20. The people of South Africa must own and embrace this G20. I said it cannot belong just to the leaders, but to the millions of people who have a stake in the discussions and the decisions that will be taken by the G20. This was the first time.
Whoops. Load shedding. Load shedding. Oh, load shedding. Look at that, folks. That's it. What the hell? What the hell? Let me see if someone else has got it. It's gone. I'll leave it there, but I mean, is that it? Is that it?
Independent lab tests have proven that...
Yeah, I don't care about independent lab tests. I want to see if someone else has got it.
Attending the summit. German delegate I have attending the summit is said to have commented, "I have attended summits on 6 continents. I've never experienced warmth like this." A Japanese delegate had this to say, "Your security guards smile while being vigilant. Your drivers share stories while navigating. Everyone from the protocol officers to the coffee vendors treats us like welcomed family, not foreign dignitaries." Commenting about our Ubuntu philosophy, one trade representative said, "In other countries, hospitality is a transaction.
No, it's not.
Here in South Africa, it feels like a tradition." A French delegate shared something profound when they said, "We came to discuss economic frameworks, but what we'll remember is how your people made us feel. That is not soft power. That is real power." Dr. Ebel concludes by saying, "This weekend, the world's most powerful people aren't talking about our GDP or our credit ratings. They are talking about our people.
But they haven't changed.
And that's a currency no economy can print." World leaders, diplomats, delegates, and observers have been sharing their own impressions online as well. The Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, said, "Thanks to the wonderful people of South Africa and the government of South Africa for organizing the summit." The Managing Director of the International Monetary Fund, Kristalina Georgieva, praised South Africa's incredible hospitality. Germany's Chancellor Friedrich Merz posted, "In a difficult international environment, it is important to preserve the G20 as a forum for global coordination and to firmly integrate Africa. Thank you for your hospitality and ambitious presidency in these turbulent times." The UN Development Programme's South Africa representative wrote, "South Africa delivered a G20 that showed the world what African leadership looks like: dignified, strategic, and people-centered."
Beating demonstrators.
A young global leader from Kenya wrote, "No matter the language, Ubuntu is understood."
South
Africa brought that spirit to the G20, and the world felt it. This is what I'd like to thank the people of South Africa for showing up for your country, for standing by your country, for showing time and again that no matter what difficulties we face, when it comes down to it, we remain proudly South African. And once again, as your president, I say thank you. Over the past year, our country has hosted tens of thousands of delegates in more than 130 meetings in every part of our country, from Gqeberha to George, Cape Town to eThekwini, Hoedspruit to Polokwane. We have also held meetings in other cities on the African continent and beyond our shores related to our G20 presidency. Drawing from Brazil's G20 presidency last year, we convened the G20 Social Summit to advance the voice of civil society and ordinary people. The Social Summit, which was attended by more than 5,000 people from around the world, was an exceptional celebration of the diversity and vibrancy of global civil society. I know some of you might have been inconvenienced by the influx of visitors to our country. There were road closures and there were other disruptions to your daily lives. We thank you for being patient and understanding, and we apologize for any difficulties you might have experienced. We thank the many people from across the country who welcomed visitors to our cities, to our towns, through our airports, living in our hotels for the time they were here, conference centers, restaurants, and tourist sites. We thank our security services personnel who ensured that all G20 events took place without any incident. We thank all members of different social sectors who participated in the engagement groups and in other G20 activities throughout the year. We thank the business people who participated in the G20 business forums and the B20 for bringing together businesses from other countries to focus and discuss our own economy. We thank the presiding officers and members of parliament, members of the judiciary, academics, and many others who organized their own sector G20 meetings. We also thank our media for keeping our people informed about the G20 processes that were unfolding all over the country. We thank our premiers for having been such welcoming hosts. We thank our mayors, our councillors, and municipal workers who worked so hard to prepare our host cities and towns for the arrival of our visitors, particularly in Johannesburg, which hosted the Leaders' Summit. These cities and towns showed what can be done when a concerted and coordinated effort is made to fix potholes and street lights, to clean up our streets and maintain our infrastructure. This must continue past the G20 and must be expanded to areas of our towns and cities that have been neglected. This is the time to improve service delivery. We thank our Deputy President, our ministers and Deputy Ministers, our G20 Sherpas, and government officials who guided the deliberations with wisdom and purpose. They did considerable work to prepare the drafting of the declaration that was adopted.
Illegally.
Most importantly, I wish to thank...
Unlike regular old hoodies, the bearskin hoodie is actually built for...
Right in the middle of Ramaphosa, we get an ad.
...city of our people and the power of what we can achieve when we work together. The impact of South Africa's G20 extends beyond the warm welcome and the memorable experiences of our visitors. From the outset, we placed Africa's growth and development at the heart of the G20's agenda. We undertook this responsibility at a time when the world is facing complex challenges, from wars and conflicts to rising inequality and the urgent threat of climate change. These challenges cause hardship and suffering across the world. They contribute to slower growth, weak investment, and economic stability. These challenges affect many countries, especially in the global south. Here in South Africa, our people are confronted each day with poverty, unemployment, and the high cost of living, which are made worse by poor service delivery in many areas of our country. It is therefore essential that we work together so that we can attract investment, promote inclusive growth, and create jobs. Through the work we are doing together, we are beginning to see the green shoots of an emerging economic recovery. Unemployment is falling.
No, it's not.
And has been recorded as such in recent months. Our public finances are improving,
No, they're not.
allowing us to steadily reduce our national debt. We have recently seen a sovereign credit rating upgrade.
Still junk bond.
This progress was recognized in a recent speech by a prominent South African business leader, Mr. Adi Enthoven, who said that after a decade of decline, South Africa has turned the corner.
Oh, it
He
hasn't.
said our economic trajectory is positive and improving. We are also working together to confront some of our greatest social challenges, such as crime and the violence perpetrated by men against women. Just over a week ago, we classified gender-based violence and femicide as a national disaster. This classification should provide us with a broader range of measures to intensify our shared effort to end this scourge and pandemic. While some thought to create division and polarization between nations, we used our G20 presidency to reinforce our shared humanity. We fostered collaboration and goodwill. We affirmed that our shared goals outweigh our differences. The leaders' declaration adopted at the summit is a clear demonstration that the spirit of multilateral cooperation is alive and strong. The adopted declaration reinforces the importance of the G20 as the premier forum for international economic cooperation and its continued relevance in the face of a rapidly changing global environment. This is particularly important as the G20 represents approximately 85% of the world's GDP, more than 75% of world trade, and also represents around 2/3 of the world's population. We have ensured that this G20 is inclusive and reflects the strength in our diversity. Working with leaders of the G20 countries, we were able to find agreement on actions that will improve the lives of people of South Africa, as they will improve the lives of people of Africa and the world at large. We found agreement on some of the issues that hold back the growth and development of our country and our continent.
Not really. ANC still in power.
One of these issues is the national debt that many countries
Here
are
it comes.
burdened with.
Beggars.
Many countries, especially in Africa, spend more on debt repayments than they do on health and education or infrastructure.
Stop borrowing money.
The G20 leaders agreed on further mechanisms to provide relief to countries with unsustainable debt levels, to reduce the cost of debt, and to increase affordable financing, especially from international development banks. The G20 leaders recognize that climate change is having the greatest effect on those countries and communities that are most vulnerable. They agreed on increased funding and support for countries to prevent disasters and to rebuild in the wake of devastating climate disasters. There was agreement on increased funding for climate action. This is particularly important for countries like ours.
No, it's not.
As we undertake a just energy transition to a low-carbon economy in a manner that protects workers, businesses, and communities. The G20 leaders also agreed that the critical minerals that the world needs should benefit those countries and communities where those minerals are found and extracted.
And leading to climate
There
change.
was agreement that countries like South Africa should be able to process and beneficiate the minerals they mine before selling them to other countries as finished products.
Well, you have no smelters left.
This will create jobs
What a joke.
for our people.
What a joke.
The agreements reflected in the G20 leaders' declaration are just the beginning. We will continue to advocate for global progress on these and other priorities, building on the foundation laid during our G20 presidency. We will work to advocate and to fight for a more equal world. South Africa commissioned the work of the G20 Extraordinary Committee on Global Inequality that was led by Professor Joseph Stiglitz,
Stiglitz, a
which
leftist.
produced the first G20 report on global inequality. The report sets out a clear set of recommendations to address this global challenge. We agreed that we will work with other willing countries to support the establishment of an international panel on inequality to provide authoritative assessments and recommendations to address this challenge. The establishment of an international panel on inequality would be similar to the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, which has proven so important in ensuring that the world's response to climate change is informed by the best scientific analysis.
Who doctor the data and alter it.
We will continue to call for more and better quality financing for developing economy countries to invest in their people and their futures. The G20 agreed that the great technological advances of our time in artificial intelligence and green energy should benefit all countries and
AI.
not just a few.
Can't keep the lights on.
Through these global agreements and actions, we will be better able to grow our economy and to create jobs for our people. The G20 consists of 19 countries plus the European Union and now the African Union. As the G20 presidency, South Africa invited 16 guest countries to participate in the G20 discussions, including especially a number of African countries and Africa's regional economic communities and financial institutions. All G20 members attended all the G20 related meetings throughout the year, except for one member country. It is regrettable that the United States of America,
But here he goes.
which is a founding member of the G20 and which takes over the presidency of the G20 from South Africa in 2026, chose not to participate in the G20 Leaders Summit and the final meetings leading up to that summit. It is even more unfortunate that the reasons the United States gave for its non-participation were based on baseless and false allegations that South Africa is perpetrating genocide against Afrikaners
That's not the reason.
and the confiscation of land from white people.
That's not the reason given.
This is blatant misinformation
Yes.
about our country.
You are blatantly misleading people.
We were most pleased that many organizations, businesses, and individuals from the United States participated in large numbers in G20 related activities such as the Business G20 summit
Because they're greedy.
and the G20 social summit. South Africa valued their constructive and enthusiastic participation.
They're greedy.
Earlier this week, we formally handed over the G20 presidency for 2026 to the United States, observing the appropriate diplomatic protocols.
No, it wasn't.
A few days ago, President Donald Trump made a statement to the effect that South Africa would not be invited to participate in the G20 in the United States. He repeated untrue statements about genocide against Afrikaners and the confiscation of land from white people in our country. We must make it clear that South Africa is one of the founding members of the G20, and South Africa is therefore a member of the G20 in its own name and right. We will continue to participate as a full, active and constructive member of the G20. Despite the challenges and misunderstandings that have arisen between South Africa and the United States, South Africa remains a firm and an unwavering friend of the American people.
No, you're not. You call us racist every
We
time you turn around.
recall the great solidarity movement in the United States that stood by our side in our struggle for democracy and freedom.
At least you admit that.
We recall how the Bill of Rights in the United States Constitution inspired us as we wrote our own Constitution.
True.
We offer the people of the United States nothing but goodwill and friendship.
And call us racist.
We affirm our commitment to continue to engage in dialogue with the United States government and to do so with respect and with dignity as equal sovereign countries. We value the United States government and its people as a partner. We have common interests, common values, and a shared wish to advance the prosperity and well-being of the people of both of our countries.
If only that were true.
As a country, we are aware that the stance taken by the United States administration has been influenced by a sustained campaign of disinformation by groups and individuals within our country, in the United States and elsewhere.
Wow.
These people who are spreading disinformation are endangering and undermining South Africa's national interests, destroying South African jobs,
ANC
and
politicians.
weakening our country's relations with one of our most important partners.
ANC politicians.
We must remind these people that South Africa is a constitutional democracy with a Bill of Rights that guarantees equality under the law.
Really?
We have an independent judiciary able to uphold our constitution
Untrue.
and defend the rights of all South Africans.
Untrue.
We are a country that has a tradition of dialogue,
Untrue.
that has an enduring ability to come together to confront the challenges that we face. South African problems must be solved by South Africans themselves.
Because they created them.
We have now embarked upon a national dialogue where all South Africans from all walks of life, of all races and creeds, are invited to forge a new future for our country.
It's a lie. Only elites are invited.
We have determined, in the tradition of Nelson Mandela and other great leaders that have helped to build our nation, that no one must be excluded. Every voice and every perspective must be heard. And as we invite people to participate, we also invite those who are spreading misinformation about our country to bring their concerns and their solutions to the national dialogue.
Remove the ANC.
We must never allow others to try to redefine our country and cause divisions amongst us or dictate who we are as a nation. We know who we are. We are South Africans. We are defined by our ability to work together and to find solutions to problems that beset our country. We live together, work together, learn together, laugh together, even play together. We also pray together as we did today during the National Day of Prayer. We also mourn together, we celebrate together, and face our challenges together. In the best and worst of times, we have stood together. We must work with greater focus and determination to address the many challenges our country is facing and make our South Africa a peaceful, prosperous, and great nation. And as our sportsmen and women have taught us, we are stronger together, always. Lastly, thank you once again for coming together as South Africans to host a very successful G20. You made us proud. Nkosi sikelela iAfrika, Morena, ubuluke sichaba sa Yesu. God CN South Africa. God bless South Africa. Mudzimu patucheze Africa chipembe. Hosi katekisa Africa. I thank you.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time there, Cyril. I'm so glad you spent the evening with us. Wow, what shall I start with here, folks? What shall I start with here? Every voice and every perspective must be heard. Really? The 1 million people who said that expropriation without compensation weren't heard. You said nothing about that. When 1 million people submitted comments against expropriation without compensation, you simply disregarded. Then you surreptitiously signed the bill in December of 2024 and only presented it to the world publicly in January at Davos after 34 days, so that could not be opposed by 1/3 of the members of parliament to take it to the Constitutional Court. So every perspective must be heard. That's a lie. It's dishonest. The national dialogue is a joke. Everyone's invited. No, only elites. There are no average people who are invited other than window dressing. So let's just start with that. Oh, my goodness. And then respect and dignity for America. Are you serious? Are you serious? You respect our sovereignty and our dignity? No, you don't. You spit in our face every time you turn around. Your racist ambassador came to America and called America racist, and our president, the leader of a global white supremacist movement. And then days before you have your summit, a week prior, on CNN's sham documentary, Misinformation, White Genocide by Donnie O'Sullivan, your foreign minister called Donald Trump a white supremacist. And during the summit, you chuckled and laughed and said, "We will not be bullied," an obvious reference to the United States. Then you met with the SABC officials and you laughed and mocked the president. And this was recorded and posted by your own public relations, government information systems, posted this online. They intentionally insulted the president of the United States. And what do you expect? You value the American relationship? No, you don't. Then drop the tariffs. Drop the quotas. I'm glad you remember too, Bo Refugee. Drop the tariffs, drop the quotas, drop the barriers to American goods and services coming to South Africa if you value us as a trading partner. No, you don't value us. You've had 25 years of duty-free access to our marketplace, and you continually insult us by refusing to sign an Article 98 waiver to protect our troops, participate in joint exercise with you, falsely allowing people to use the International Criminal Court against American soldiers who are not subject to it. You have insulted America over and over again. You've taken our money. And this nonsense about your economy. You cite people. It's comical. And green shoots of improved economy. Really? Your budget's firmed up. No, your budget hasn't firmed up. You're hemorrhaging money. And the $1.4 billion loan the World Bank just gave you proves that. You wouldn't need a $1.4 billion World Bank loan if you weren't hemorrhaging money. Your situation is not improved. And your improved credit rating, let's just be clear about that. Your improved credit rating was bullshit based on bullshit provided by bullshit analysts at Moody's. The reality is that your credit rating is still junk bond status. You still have to pay excessive rates of interest to borrow money from the public sector. Morning Steenkamp, thank you for the 14 Rand. Ramaphosa lies with a straight face. What a farce. Yep. You have junk bond status. It has improved, but you're still junk bond. Thank you, Veroshka. You still have junk bond status. You borrow $1.4 billion, not rand, dollars from the World Bank just a few days ago, and your improved credit rating is a joke. Your economy's not improving. The economic GDP growth in South Africa this year is 0.5, half of 1%. Inflation is running at 3% or better, and population growth is higher than your GDP growth. You are not rising, you are sinking. You're absolutely sinking. This isn't misinformation. This isn't disinformation. These are facts, Cyril. These are facts widely available to the public, the discerning public. And your solution is to talk about Ubuntu and to put a begging bowl out. Please, sir, more soup. You want debt relief. We just gave you more money. Are we supposed to forgive the debt we just gave you? That isn't debt. Those are grants. You've been given billions in grants, $8.1 billion in grants over the past 22 years to fight HIV alone, despite Thabo Mbeki's tiny penis envy. Thabo Mbeki's inability to deal with the reality that people are irresponsible with their sexual behavior in South Africa and blaming people and calling them racist for pointing out the obvious. Having a small house is not conducive to reducing AIDS and HIV. My goodness. Des Finlay, 35 Rand Super Chat, and Kevosaurus RSA, thank you for that. My goodness. Let's talk about the $580,000 illicitly brought into South Africa, illegally put in a couch, and then the misuse and perversion of justice from the people who were kidnapped, according to the Namibians, from Namibia, and tortured, according to them, by your security services. And let's talk about the South African Police Service, whose fraudulent report erroneously claims that there were no incidents, no break-ins, no thefts at any of the 43 VIP protected residences during that calendar year. That's what the report says, a matter of public record. Yet your home was broken into and $580,000 illicitly reported, never reported as income, never reported as a currency transaction in the country. These are crimes against the state. And this is the president of the country. And he talks about people spreading misinformation. Let's talk about that. By the way, the key takeaway, here, thank you for your voice. You're welcome, a lot of these lessons. Let's talk about the key takeaway. He said the most important thing about this is that we were nice to visitors. Well, aren't you supposed to be nice to visitors? Isn't that a human trait? Isn't hospitality something that humans are expected to display towards others? Modi, Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India, thanked us for hosting the summit. I'm sorry, isn't that your job? You are the president of the G20. Isn't it your job to host these things? Isn't it your job to host? So Narendra Modi thanking you for hosting it is just thank you for doing your job. You think that's an achievement? Yaku Cornelius, thank you for becoming. You think that's an achievement? You think you've accomplished something by hosting it? Again, I go back to my point from the beginning. Did anybody think that South Africa wouldn't be able to spruce up the streets, to flood the streets with cops while everyone else gets robbed, raped, and murdered in their townships and their homes? Do you think they weren't going to be able to do that? Of course. And you know how they had to do it? They robbed Cape Town and put the avgas at Waterkloof and at Joburg in Kempton Park. There was no gas. They had to cancel flights from South Africa because there was no aviation fuel. Did you know that? Did you know there was no aviation fuel, insufficient supply at Cape Town? Do you know why? Because you have one refinery left. You had 3 or 4 refineries. They're all shut down. And oh, by the way, he talks about Africa getting the benefication of, going up the value chain for minerals. Wonderful. But where are you going to do that in South Africa? Your ferrochrome smelters are gone. When you took over, there were 19 ferrochrome smelters in South Africa, some of which had the fires burning for over 100 years. Their furnaces were kept going all the time. 19 ferrochrome smelters. Do you know how many there are today? 2. Or is it 1? And it's about to close. How in the world are you going to get benefication from the refining of minerals when you can't refine ferrochrome in your own country? How are you going to get benefication of metals when the rail lines have been stripped of the rails and have been stripped of communications lines and there's no rail police? You can't transport. You have to bring it by truck. And by truck is too expensive. You don't have enough fuel to refine. This makes no sense whatsoever. But we were nice to visitors. We were proudly South African. Well, congratulations. That's the minimum you should do. And the summit was marked by people who said the drivers were friendly and had conversations and they loved how even the coffee shops, the vendors were so friendly. Of course they're friendly. Do you know why? Do you know why they're friendly? I'll tell you why they're friendly. This is why they're friendly. Ladies and gentlemen, Yeah, the coffee shops and the vendors are very friendly. Of course they're friendly. Do you know why? Because they want this, Cyril. These people aren't stupid. They're in business to make money. Unlike you, they're in business to make money. They want people to spend money to buy coffee, to buy a sandwich from the little shop. They want this. They want this. They don't want you, trust me. They want this. They want this. They want this. Or the bull on the backside. There you go. The blue bulls. There you go. Blue bulls, that's your note. That's what they want. That's what they want. And he said that the summit proved that we can repair infrastructure and we now need to maintain it. I draw your attention to 2023, another large international summit that took place in South Africa, the BRICS Summit, for which I was an accredited journalist and I participated. I was in the BRICS Summit. Yes, as a journalist, I covered it from the convention center. I was there. The city was spruced up and it immediately fell into disrepair. Why is this summit different than the BRICS Summit? How are you suddenly going to maintain it, Dada Marrero? How will Joe Berg maintain the potholes or keep them repaired, not have potholes? How will they maintain service delivery, picking up the trash? They won't. This is nonsense. Nonsense. He talked about an international panel on inequality. Yay, another talking head shop. An international panel on inequality. Well, inequality is created by socialists and communists. Look at Venezuela, one of the most equal countries in Latin America until the communist socialists took over. And now, under the continued maladministration of Nicolas Maduro, who replaced his idiotic predecessor, the country falls deeper and deeper and deeper into misery and depths of poverty. Inequality. Yes, this is a consequence of the communists and socialists. Look at Cuba. Cuba is more equal than anywhere in the world, supposedly, but it's also poorer than most places in the world. The total thing is a joke, an absolute joke. He said that we have reached an agreement. Yes, you've reached an agreement on debt relief. You reached an agreement, but the thing is, most of that debt that you're talking about on debt relief is held by American banks. Not by British banks, not by German banks, not by French banks, not by Japanese banks. Most of the debt you're referring to is held by American banks. So who's going to relieve your debt? The American banks? We've seen this movie before. It's called the Heavily Indebted Poor Countries Initiative, HIPC, and Enhanced HIPC. We've seen this before. And guess what? Guess what? We forgave the debt. And what happened? They borrowed more money. And they still failed to deliver services to their people in education, healthcare, and justice. So, HIPC, enhanced HIPC, now you want more debt relief? You've been screaming for debt relief since COVID. Where's my debt relief? Somebody forgive my mortgage. How about somebody forgive my mortgage? That'd be nice. Take me a couple $100,000 out of debt. I'd love that. Yay. Can I have it? I've saved people in Africa. I saved 640,000 people from starving to death. Can I have a credit for that? Can you just forgive my debt for being a good person? Spare me. You have an agreement. You have no action. There will be no action. You can agree to all you want. The Paris Climate Accord is an agreement. But every European country that agreed to the Paris Climate Accord has had their emissions go up. Anna Krohn, thank you for the 70 Rand. Appreciate that. So agreements mean nothing. Action is what matters. It's like Trump saying things. It means nothing. It's what Trump does that matters. Utter nonsense. So, this summit leaves him with great hope. And he brought up the issue of gender-based violence. But gender-based violence has been an issue throughout the modern era of South Africa's history. Yet the ANC has done virtually nothing to end it. Monica Fagemund, thank you for 140 Rand Super Chat. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah, you've done nothing to end it. Nothing to end it. Gender-based violence is the boogeyman, the chupacabra, the babagaya that you pull out every time that you're in trouble. Oh, we're fighting gender-based violence. But the United States has probably contributed more money to South Africa's non-profit organizations to fight gender-based violence than the government of South Africa has probably ever put into it. Now, that's not a statement of fact. I'm just surmising that to be the case. You talk about that. Well, what about your collapsing infrastructure? South Africa's ports are the 78th worst in the world. You rank 78 out of 78 countries. That's bad. 27,000 murders per year. Potholes. Taxi industry controlled by gangs. The construction industry controlled by the mafia. Wow. But you're proudly South African. Proudly South African. He said the impact of this conference will extend beyond the warm welcome. Really? It will. How? How? He also referred to artificial intelligence. How can a country that can't keep electricity on have artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence needs electricity to function. It needs batteries. You don't have that. This takes me back to the whole thing of beneficiation of mineral processing. How can you process minerals when you don't even have smelters? You don't even have smelters in South Africa. It's absolutely insane. By the way, folks, 434 likes. That's all we got out of 1,268. You don't have to like Cyril Ramaphosa. You can like my analysis.
That was easy.
Hit the like button. Come on, do it.
That was easy.
Hit the like button. 435 likes is all we got. 1,200 people here, 1,300 people. Come on, guys. Hit the like button. Yeah, artificial comrade. Yeah, at one moment, there were a couple glitches there. First off, what an embarrassing situation. They can't even manage the live broadcast from the president. You know, did you see that? The whole thing just disappeared early on. It just was gone for like a minute. Very upsetting, to be honest, scary and disturbing. More and more cock coming from for sure. This scares me even more. I already can't sleep, Loretta says. Thank you for the 70 Rand, Loretta. Well, on top of that, Loretta, let's just talk about this. This guy started threatening people. He started threatening people, claiming people inside and outside South Africa were spreading misinformation and disinformation about South Africa. No, folks, South Africa has junk bond status. That's not misinformation. South Africa has 27,000 murders per year on average. That's not misinformation. South Africa's infrastructure is collapsing. That's not misinformation. South Africa has 145 race-based laws. That's not misinformation. South African police services lies about farm attacks and rural insecurity by falsely reporting attempted murder and murder as a house robbery. That's not disinformation. We have the receipts. I've shown you the police report in which they lied. Where that is misinformation. The truth hurts. The truth hurts. America has poverty. We have 42 million people living on food stamps, but 42 million people don't live on food stamps. Maybe about 12 million people. The rest have incomes 400% above the poverty line. Why are they getting food stamps? Because of corrupt Democrats who spread the program to people who shouldn't be eligible for it. That's why. But America has problems. I'll be honest about them. I'll admit them. We have Democrats. That's a problem. And thank you for your subscription, Venant Villion. We have problems. I'll be honest about them. We have sclerotic behavior in the Congress. We have an ineptitude in the Congress, an inability to pass a national budget in the Congress. We have petty people in political office. We have massive crime problems in urban slums where people of certain ethnicities live and don't have value for life, which is a cultural issue. Irene LaRue, 14 Rand, thank you. So the whataboutism that will come from the whataboutists will say that what about America? Well, I'm telling you about America. We have challenges. We do. Absolutely. We have some place in the country that have serious pollution problems. But we're a country of rule of laws. Despite the lawlessness of the Biden regime, we're restoring the rule of law. So South Africa, these are not misinformation, disinformation talking points. They're facts. They're facts. So I guess the government of South Africa under the ANC believes anything that they don't want people to know about is disinformation. Disinformation. So the threats that were leveled here by the president of South Africa, and make no mistake, he threatened South Africans and people abroad for telling the truth about South Africa. He threatened them. Did I infer incorrectly? Did I infer incorrectly? Hang on a second. Here's a poll. Feel free to answer the poll. The 1,251 people here. Wonder what the USA will respond. I don't know if the USA will respond to it. He started out by insulting America yet again, but then tried to pretend that we're great friends. Yep. He talked about inclusivity at the summit and diversity. These are not traits that are strong or have any merit. They're simply things. It's ridiculous. Inclusivity and diversity. He also talked about the three major scourges affecting the world: war, inequality, and climate change. Climate's always changing. Adapt. Be resilient. My people left Africa because the climate was changing hundreds of thousands of years ago. and got the hell out. Moved to Middle East and then moved to the Caucasus and then moved to Europe. They said, the hell with this. This sucks. Yep. Inequality in South Africa is largely owing to the policies of the government of South Africa. Yep. Yep. There have been plenty of innovations since the ANC took over that should have reduced barriers. Number one, the internet. The internet reduced barriers, reduced costs, and improved things available to the average person for virtually no cost over time. That should have made people have better lives and be wealthier. But the ANC has undermined that as well. We've also seen other major innovations in transportation and in economics, all of which have fallen by the wayside as the ANC has intruded into government. Yeah, what else? And thank you, Yaakov Under, for 140 Rand. You're very welcome. Thank you so much. You're very welcome. Yeah, also in the speech when he insulted America, he didn't address the 4 things that America asked to change. He said that you should exempt American companies from your racist law about equity. We're not giving 30% of our equity to companies based on the fact that the owner is black. That's just stupid. That's not positive. That's not good for commerce. That's just dumb. So he didn't address that. He didn't address the 145 race-based laws. And he also lied about the reasons the United States are not at the summit. Unfortunately, Donald Trump made it easy for the media and for the government of South Africa to lie about things, because Donald Trump said we're not coming because it's a country that's confiscating land and a country that's exterminating South Africans. Trump did say that, but that's hyperbole. The real reason, and he knows full well why the United States didn't participate, aside from insulting the President of the United States and America on a weekly basis, that's not the real reason. The real reason is because the ANC chose to turn the year that they had the presidency, to turn the G20 into a farce. It's a farce. The purpose of the G20 is not to talk about global inequality. The purpose of G20 is not to have a beggar's bowl out demanding, debt relief. The purpose of G20 is not about Ubuntu. That's ridiculous. You want Ubuntu? Go to the United Nations General Assembly. That's where you put Ubuntu on the floor, not the G20. The G20 is meant to be a forum for those countries with the largest economic output to coordinate their activities so that they continue the successful flow of trade between the countries, and a rising tide lifts all boats. That's the purpose of G20. None of this Ubuntu bullshit. Ford Ranger, thank you for subscribing. And what's this? Kowal Tobog, I can't read that. Kowal Tobog. Oh, Kowal Tobogan. Thank you for the $20, man. That's awesome. Thank you for that super chat. Appreciate that. And then Loretta says, I've sent a WhatsApp I received today. Some relief U.S. wants to give each household, apparently. Some relief. Well, the government in South Africa can't give relief to South African households. They don't have any money. I don't know how they're going to pull that off. Don't know how they're going to pull it off. Thank you for that, Loretta, for the super chat. Yeah. Wow. I mean, honestly, absolutely utter nonsense we're talking about here. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. The debt relief, begging bowl. The purpose of the G20, ladies and gentlemen, is to coordinate the activities of the largest economies in the world, which, as he correctly pointed out, produce 75% of the world's economic output. That's the purpose of it. It's not to beg for debt relief. You want debt relief? Go to the World Bank, go to the IMF, go to the African Development Bank, go to the BRICS Bank where you borrowed the money from. Ask for the debt relief there. And thank you for your membership there, Andre. Appreciate it. That's where you get debt relief. That's where you solve these problems, folks. Not this nonsense that's going on right now. This is utter nonsense. Total, pure BS. I mean, that is not the purpose of G20. Begging bowl, debt relief, the just energy transition jet. There's no such thing as a just energy transition. The just energy transition means stealing money from my pocket and giving it to corrupt politicians in the developing world. That's what the just energy transformation is. Iceberg says, I'm almost there. I really need a fair chance. I'm middle 40s. Just one chance, one last chance for fair living. That's all. Well, thank you, Iceberg. But that's not the purpose. If you're talking about the refugee program, it's not to give people a fair chance. This is not an immigration program. I presume you've been discriminated against racially. If that's the case, then it's for you. Otherwise, it's not. So, yep. Anyway, unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. This is shocking to say the least. Shocking to say the least. Completely tone deaf to the world. The thing is that this can only continue for so long. This misinformation, this disinformation, these lies and subterfuges by ANC politicians, by GNU politicians lying to the world about what's happening in South Africa can only continue for so long. Eventually, the people will rise up like they did in 2021. It will take one spark, and the people of South Africa will revolt against this government. And the GNU will find that tar and feathers are their future. This is pretty scary, what is happening in South Africa. The government ignoring the misery and suffering and blaming it on others. I'm surprised Jan van Riebeck and Hendrik Verwoerd weren't mentioned in the speech. But, you know, the G20 summit shows that we can fix infrastructure and maintain services. No, it doesn't. It means that you can rob resources from Peter to pay Paul to spruce up and create a Potemkin village of fakeness for the world to see. And, you know, thank you from the delegates who were wined and dined and treated like dignitaries and really ritzy people by being escorted here and there. Did any of them go to Guguletu? Did any of them go to Kailicha? Did any of them go to Alexandria? Did any of them go to the poor parts of Soweto or Shoshinguvwe, north of Pretoria? Were any of them taken to Shoshinguvwe? No, I doubt they were. I doubt they were. It's just window dressing. It's just lipstick on a pig, ladies and gentlemen. All this is lipstick on a pig. The president of South Africa is completely disconnected from reality. I don't think he is, though. I think he knows what reality is, and he doesn't care. He doesn't care. And by the way, look, I don't hope that South Africa is not invited to Miami, but if Cyril Ramaphosa thinks he's going to Miami after this continual insults to America and to Donald Trump, he is really drinking something bizarre. He's really drinking something bizarre. Wow, it's insane, folks. Yeah, the reasons the U.S. did not participate in the G20 were actually because the ANC turned it into a joke. The ANC turned into a begging bowl of debt relief. The ANC turned into the just energy transition, the green energy religion scam. Those are the reasons why the U.S. didn't participate, because it was a waste of our time. Also, there was no unanimous declaration. There was no consensus declaration. Two countries would not sign this document, Argentina and the United States. So it's not a consensus. It's an overwhelming majority, but not a consensus. And citizens paid as much as 1.4 billion rand for this event, according to the media. Now, I think that's just the summit that just occurred. That doesn't include all the meetings in the build-up to it. So I don't know the status of that. Trump probably won't respond quickly. He's busy with Venezuela, with the Democrats, with Republicans retiring from Congress, and with health care issues that we've got to resolve about the insurance scam that the Democrats perpetrated on America back in 2010, 15 years ago. We've got to solve that mess. So Trump's a little busy. I'd be surprised if he responds to this, but we'll see. We'll see. The problem is that someone needs to write something articulate for the president. Someone needs to get engaged with the president, actually knows what they're talking about, not this nonsense that we're seeing coming from the president of the United States, you know, just saying these things. It doesn't help. Unbelievable, folks. Now we have 793 likes. Can we get to 1,000 likes on this stream? There's still 1,200 people here. Can you guys push the like button and get us to 1,000 likes? That'd be really nice. Really nice. But I think the funniest thing I got from this is he started the whole speech out by saying that we hosted a successful G20. Okay, you can say that. I won't argue with that. We hosted a successful G20, and we know because of the comments coming from the participants, they found that the people that served them coffee and their food and were very friendly and polite. Yes, once again, because people who are coffee vendors want to get this. They want to get your money. They want to get tips. They are going to be polite to you. That's the nature of customer service, Cyril. You know, I know you don't know about it, even though you own the Big Macs in South Africa. You don't understand the concept of customer service. But you see, if you have a smile on your face and you're friendly to your customers, more times than not, you will get a tip. People will tip you for good service, and therefore, or they'll buy your product or service, as opposed to the sourpuss sitting over in the corner selling the same thing. So that's why these vendors smiled. And as far as the drivers driving around, well, of course they were friendly. They were paid to be friendly and be polite. What would you expect? What did you expect? 27,000 people murdered per year, rampant, pervasive, gender-based violence, people being assaulted, physically harmed by those activities, home invasions, farm murders, collapsing infrastructure, potholes everywhere, gangsters controlling the taxi industry, mafia controlling the construction industry, the inability to provide electricity to the country consistently. This is just some of the things. None of that is disinformation. Those are all factual. All factual things. I can attest to it. I've gone through load shedding, flying into Cape Town. You see it on the background photo that I use for some of my streams and my videos. You can see the blacked out parts of Cape Town. They didn't turn the lights off because they're saving energy. They turned the lights off because there was no electricity because of load shedding. Because of the incompetence and corruption at Eskom, a state-owned company. Why do you own state-owned companies? Why don't you privatize them and let the private sector do something? What happened tonight is worrying. He did threaten we need the targeted sanctions soon. He did threaten people. Basically, what I heard, my inference from that is he threatened AfriForum, he threatened Solidarity, he threatened any politicians who dare to criticize South Africa and tell the truth. That's what I heard. Is that what you guys heard? That's what I heard. This was not a helpful presentation by the South African president. It's not helpful. Look, he could have said that, we hosted the G20. This is what he should have done. We hosted the G20 summit. And from our perspective, things went very well. We were able to convince the other countries to create bodies like a panel for international panel to discuss inequality around the world. We also addressed the issues we're concerned about, climate change and the energy. We've talked about that, and we talked about how we can improve the economic lot of South African countries around the world, the developing world. Additionally, we were concerned the United States did participate in Leaders Summit. But they did participate in the other meetings throughout the year. They just didn't participate in Leaders Summit. And we hope we can resolve the difference with the United States and move forward. That's what should have been said. That's what should have been said. But that's not what was said. Unbelievable. Yeah, Francis, that's what you heard too. Oh, I'm sure Jaco Kleinhans has had death threats. Also, Cyril Ramaphosa talked about a constitutional democracy. It's not a constitutional democracy. It's not. When your government officials rip down lawfully installed billboards and signage because you don't like the message, that's silencing freedom of speech. The damage done by that to freedom of speech in South Africa by the Johannesburg Metropolitan Police Department ripping down the signs about 145 race-based laws is not a representative government. That is a violation of the Constitution. South Africans are entitled to free speech. There was no harm in that speech. It was not inciting a riot. It was not inciting violence. It was not attacking any member or group. Meanwhile, we have the captured South African Human Rights Commission now advocating for stealing land from people at Hartbeespoort, stealing their land, their property, to give to other people as a redress. But at the same mouthpiece is telling us that we want the country to be equitable for everyone. How is it equitable when you steal people's lawfully acquired property and impoverish them? That's not equitable. That isn't inclusive. That's theft. And the president of South Africa is talking about how we are not confiscating property, that these are lies. Well, they're not lies. You don't have to outright confiscate the property. You can intimidate people. You can draw them into court. I've got a case right here of a gentleman right here. Here's an email, one-page email from a gentleman whose entire grandparents' farm is being expropriated. How? By dragging them to court and with invalid land claims, dragging out over years, forcing her to court, forcing them to pay for lawyers, and they've been drained dry of millions of rand defending their land when there's not even a legitimate case against it. They're going to have to sell it for a pittance in the end just to pay their legal bills. To lie and say that there is no confiscation of land is a lie. This is how you confiscate land. Look at the Ackerland Broderai. What happened there? That's how you confiscate land. You steal from people in that fashion. That is the bottom line here, ladies and gentlemen. That is the truth of the matter. You may not claim that you're expropriating land, but your inability to enforce the law and get rid of these spurious land claims and protect property owners is prima facie evidence that you are confiscating land. It's the truth. It's the truth. We don't like the truth and facts to be exposed, but good will always overcome evil. Well, I hope good overcomes evil. It's so sad to see what's happened to South Africa. And it's accelerated under Cyril Ramaphosa. Things were bad under Jacob Zuma with state capture, but at least the state capture, they were just stealing money from the state. They weren't actively going after people like they are now. Yep, first world infrastructure. Yep. Crazy stuff. Inferiority complex because he always feels the need to explain himself. Mr. President also said no incidents happened during the G20. Yeah, exactly. What about the Vietnamese contingent? What about the pilots who were there from Brazil? Yeah, who were helped by the police to pay their prostitutes. Unbelievable, folks. Unbelievable. Look, I understand putting a smile on the event. Again, I will concede that the event was a success from the standpoint that South Africa managed to get the people in, managed to get them out, and most of them weren't affected by crime, and most of them had a good experience. But their good experience is not the experience of 63 million South Africans. It's not like that. Yeah, there is. Well, Marxism is about equality of outcomes. Equality of outcomes. They don't want equality. They want equality of outcomes. There's a very big difference. Equality of opportunity is one thing, which is what South Africa's politicians are diametrically opposed to. They don't want equality of opportunity. That's why they exclude people with a 97% matric graduation rate and score from going to UCT, because they're an Afrikaner. That's why they do that. They don't want equality. They want equality of outcomes, not of opportunity. Yep. So tired of everyone talking. There's anti-criminal racist organizations made of terrorists and liars, and they have turned this country into a cesspool. Gideon Joubert. I think many people would agree with you. Yep. Thank you for covering this, Chris. It gives me a lot of hope the United States see right through all this nonsense. Well, I can tell you this, folks. I do know for a fact that some officials in Trump administration do watch my content. Yep. And certainly in the State Department, USCIS watch my content. Yep. Speech of nothing supports South African people. It just leads further down the road to violence. That road is coming to an end. Folk funk, you may be right about that. But Ubuntu. We're getting close to 1,000 likes, folks. Come on, make it happen. 962. I should have put up a goal for super chats on this stream, but that's not my nature. I'll do it eventually. I think I did it once just to test it. Equality of outcome is the communist way. That's right. It's not quality of opportunity. It's equality of outcome. Ingrid said, I heard that as well, Chris. In my opinion, he wants to rule South Africa by fear, install fear, intimidation, impoverish us, the citizens, the rule, and the rest just keep quiet. All right, so let me ask this question, guys. I did this yesterday. We got 1,000 people here. I got to start a poll. Hang on a second there. Let me close that poll. So that poll got us 91%, 610 votes. So I'm going to do another poll since we have 1,000 people here, okay? Let me get a quick snap of that screen capture. And hang on for the poll. Don't go anywhere. I want you to answer a poll. By the way, a poll's anonymous, so relax. Not like anyone's going to track you anyway. So let me get to this really quick. So here's the poll coming up now. Start a poll. All right, I think I got it now. My typing is bad here today. Hang on for the poll, folks. Well, that didn't come out right. Okay. All right, so there's a poll. Would you nominate me to be an ambassador at large for minorities in South Africa? It's something Rob Hershoff proposed a few months back in a message to President Trump. Would you nominate me to be an ambassador at large for South Africa? We're over 1,000 likes. Thank you for that. Did you get to see the choir that sang? Well, I didn't see any choir. How do you know certain government employees are watching your channel? Not just assume you're hoping they are. Well, Napoleon, I'm not going to answer that. Again, did you miss the point that I worked in the intelligence community and that people like me have responsibility to protect certain information? So there you go. So, Napoleon, if you want to assume that I'm assuming, then you can assume all you want. All right? Take it for what you want. All right? My goodness, you want me to sit here and expose sources? I mean, you know, that's not a smart thing for a journalist. It's really a dumb thing for an intelligence professional, but not a good thing for a journalist. Same sort of thing. Why do you ask a question like that? It should be self-evident. Next phase ANC plan now is the Western powers stop believing the victim story and giving money, which is, of course, stolen by caterers. Colonel, did you hear about the new business licensing bill? I have not. I saw that there's a bill, but I didn't really pay much attention to it. Turned up now more than ever. Just pray for a quick save, okay? Is there a chance that Trump can sign an executive order that no U.S. company operating in South Africa is allowed to comply with BE? I'm not sure how that works, if he can do that. I'm not sure how that works. No, people are welcome to say no. That's their prerogative. That's why I put the poll up. I'm not looking for, universal love here and acclaim. Just asking a question. Rob Hersolf made this proposal some time ago, a few months back, and he sent a message and hopefully got the White House got it. Look, Napoleon, you can believe what you want. If you think that I'm just making it up, that's your prerogative. There are some things I can't show you the receipts on. Yep. There are some things I can't show the receipts on. Most things I do. You work for intelligence. Assume the Trump administration has a team of you keeping them updated. Yeah, there are intelligence analysts that cover South Africa and all the agencies. Guys, no need to attack the 2% in poll. Let it be 2%. Let it be 40%. I don't care. 3 men tried stealing electrical cables in Impala Park, Boxburg, and the one dropped the cable in the water and electrocuted all 3. Well, then that would be the Darwin effect going into play. So there you go. There you go. Small business license, Bill Stebbins, pure socialist system. I'll have to take a look at it again. Kathy, of course I'll have time. I mean, people think that I'm a robot already because I'm constantly broadcasting and making content and volunteering my time for veterans and volunteering my time to help others. Of course I'll find time. Of course I'll find time. McDonald's need to revoke their license. Please complete the poll. Yeah, there you go. And Len to USA says 500 Rand. Thank you. Wow, that's nice, man. 500 Rand super chat. That's awesome. That was good. Thank you very much for that. What was quick, Paul de Klerk? What was quick? Just Another Girl says, I'd be perfect for the role. You have all the right qualifications to understand the country. I also have the empathy for people. I have empathy for all South Africans, except the criminals. What was quick, Paul? The gays for Palestine. It's gays for Gaza. Gays for Gaza. Get it right. 491 votes on that poll, folks. Keep it going. Keep it going. Keep it going. Just wish my case could stop hanging and I could get asked out there. I understand that, Curiosity Nuggets, and I empathize for people who are going through a refugee program and are sitting in a holding pattern. There's not much we can do about it. I get so many emails every day from people asking for help with that. Yep. Boycotting. You've been boycotting McDonald's for years. ANC, EFF, and MK want AfriForum is solidarity declared terrorist groups. The heat is going to turn up. I agree it is. It's going to be turned up. And if that happens, let me tell you something right now. AfriForum and Solidarity do have friendly voices in America that have power and influence. We trust your honest feedback, says Bonnie. Thank you for 50 rands. Very kind of you. Do have friends in the administration. And not just administration, but in Congress in general. And not just Republicans, but also Democrats. So let me tell you something right now. If this pressure is turned up against AfriForum and Solidarity for exercising their constitutional rights for freedom of assembly, freedom of association, freedom of speech, if that happens, that will not go well for the government of South Africa. That will not go well for the government of South Africa. Yep. Yikes. If Trump makes South Africa tariffs for 50% and bans trade with South Africa, then we're done. That's true. That could be done overnight. That could be done overnight. Amanda says, no, so much for Ubuntu, let it go. Anyway, folks, those are the comments that Cyril Ramaphosa made. It was clear that he insulted America again, then tried to pretend that he wants to be friends with America. Then why are you running around mocking the President of the United States in something your media people intentionally published to insult President Trump? It wasn't like it was even a clandestine recording. They recorded it and they posted it. Not a smart move. Thank you, Just Another Girl, for your membership. Bastard White has a very good ring to it. 565 votes, 1,145 people here. Vote in the poll, folks. If you vote no, vote in the poll. 97% say yes. Okay. Yeah, so, I mean, these are the notes I took during the broadcast. You can see my chicken scratch. Those are the notes that I took. Just insane. And you're wondering why it's all slanted. I'm left-handed, so it's, I tend to write that way so it doesn't rub on my palm. Yeah, so... Yeah, I mean, just, unbelievable nonsense here. Inclusive and diverse. Who cares about inclusive, diverse? Inclusivity and diversity are not guarantees of success. Thank you for the super chat, Just Another Girl. 70 Rand. Super sticker. Yeah, Trump send those large army planes. Well, they're busy in Venezuela at the moment. I'm a lefty as well, says Jared. Okay, Andre Clausen, thank you for becoming a member. Appreciate that. Okay, thank you so much. When are you starting range cream crabs? Starting what? Starting what, Madeline? That's what they're good for. That's what they're good for, to blame, complain, mislead, and brainwash. Yep. After Ramaphosa's speech, the fear in me escalated. Can they find out who? No, they can't. No, they can't. First off, I mean, look, anything is possible. I mean, look, I can find out who you are. I mean, I can do a surveillance program to photograph and identify people going to places. That can be done. If I have the power of the state, I can intercept phone calls with keywords. That can be done. There are also officials who work in security and other places that could be bribed to tip off people. All that can be done. But that is a huge effort, and I would not worry about it. I would not worry about it. It's not going to affect you. So. All the problems are not from other nations. The ANC elites that have destroyed South Africa. Exactly. And Yaku says they're stupid beyond comprehension. Yep. What's your opinion on South Africa diving into, what's this? Diving into 9 countries, rather. I don't understand. What do you mean by that, Stefan? Stefan 4444W says, opinion of them diving into 9. I don't understand. What is 9 countries? I don't wear a wristwatch anymore, Philip. I stopped wearing them because of cell phones. I used to wear a wristwatch. In fact, I have my G-Shock sitting right here. But I'm left-handed, but I always wear it on my left arm. I'm not comfortable with anything on my right arm. Sick Puppy says, you're a beast. Well, thank you for that. Oh, the amount of people who respond to my poll, Paul. Okay, gotcha, Paul. I was wondering what the heck you were talking about. Yeah, people did respond. How we doing? Now we're down to 96, 648 votes. Oh, now my feelings are being hurt. 4% said no. I'm so crushed. I'm so harmed. My feelings are so injured. Not. Divide. Oh, gotcha. Dividing South Africa in 9 countries. Not plausible. I think South Africa can be 3 countries. The Cape, KZN, and the rest. Yep. But 9, no. The Northern Cape can never survive as a functional economy without handouts. Eastern Cape can't survive without handouts. Limpopo can't survive, and Mpumalanga might be able to, but yeah. No, Northwest can't survive. There's 3 countries. I think South Africa could be 3 countries. It could be the Cape, it could be KwaZulu-Natal, and it could be, the Gauteng, Greater Gauteng Republic, if you want to call it that. No, just because someone voted against it in the poll doesn't mean they're a troll. They can just disagree with it. That's Africa, not RSA. Chris, they said no because it will take your time away from stream. That's what I'm getting. That's Virtual Western Cape. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, so anyway. Good evening, Pig Daddy RSA. How are you? Can nominate you. Well, there is no place to nominate me. I just wanted to do this poll when we got a lot of people here. It was 98% last night. Chris, you won the popular electoral vote for ambassador. Sean Spence, right-handed people do not understand the challenges us softballs have to deal with. Right on a dry whiteboard, you can erase what you wrote. Exactly. 70 Rand, thank you for that. And then Harry Muir says 35 Rand, thank you for your great work. You're very welcome. Thank you guys for that. Chris, you would be the best ambassador considering how corrupt Durka is. They ignore orders. By the way, folks, if one of my mods could put the link up, tomorrow Steve Hofmeyer will be on this program. Steve and I will be talking about music in South Africa and artificial intelligence, among other things. So tune in tomorrow. Steve Hofmeyer, not been on the program since August of 2020. Finally, 5 years later, we got him. We got him. He's on the program. Steve will be on tomorrow. So looking forward to that conversation. All right. Wonder how many ANC Goonies are sitting here watching. There's a few ANC folks. I can't wear a wristwatch. Either stops or lose tons of time. Apparently something on my heartbeat. Could be. Watching him lie is nauseating. Amanda will be my PF ambassador. In a proper democracy, a government that has committed such levels of failures and other crap would have resigned long ago or would have been voted out or even removed by demonstration. Exactly. Well, same thing happened in Zimbabwe. A criminal organization known as ZANU-PF has been ruling that country since 1980 and destroying it. And despite starvation and pervasive HIV and economic collapse, they are still in power. Yes, Redbeard gives you wings. Softballs do rule. We're the best pitchers. We think with the right side of our mind. We're also much more analytical and less emotional than people who are right-handed. Yes, Steve is an Afrikaans singer. That's correct. Just voted no because I didn't know if you were qualified. I choose to vote for people on merit. Napoleon Dynamite. You also question my thing. You're just being difficult tonight. 4% probably. Dogzilla. I don't think Dogzilla is here. Could be independent Boer Republic's return. Well, you don't have enough sufficient concentration of Afrikaners or Boers in any location to have your own republic, unless you're going to include other races and ethnicities in your republic as part of it. Then you could do it. Steve is more a philosopher than a singer. Steve is he's an author, he's an actor, he is a philosopher, and he is an activist and a singer. He does all those things. He's a Renaissance man. They say left-handed people are super intelligent. Well, I would agree with that, just another girl. I wouldn't disagree with that argument. I'm left when I write, but I play golf right-handed. I played golf right-handed the first time I ever played because there were no clubs. I was a young private at the Advanced Individual Training in Fort Gordon. I took the cab over for $1 to the golf course and said, I want to golf. Can I golf here? And they, yeah, you got an ID. You're on post. You're allowed to be here. And I said, but I don't have any clubs. Well, we rent clubs. And I went and looked, and all they had was right-handed clubs. So I ran to the right-handed clubs, and I bought a couple balls, and I went out and I played right-handed. And that's how I played golf the first time. It was a little awkward for me because my follow-through is difficult with my left arm coming this way. The other way, of course, I go this way, got much more power. But I'm left-handed. Netso, watch the message in the chat of another farm murder. I saw that Andre Mostart, but I'm not talking about farm murders right now. There were 3 farm attacks or murders over the weekend, as I understand it. Yep. The Northern Cape are the biggest tax contributors. Spending and income are due to the mines and cost of living. Ambidextrous people. Well, Helen, that's awesome for you. I would have redirected, but couldn't find you on my YouTube studio. Well, sorry about that, Ronaldo, but we seem to have a pretty decent audience. Shame. That would have been great to have a huge audience. Ronaldo, how's it going? Ronaldo, what did you say, man? You want to come up and pop up for a couple minutes? You want me to send you a Zoom link? You can pop in. We can discuss it. You got a few minutes, Ronaldo? It doesn't have to be long because I've got a refugee stream coming up at the top of the hour. But Ronaldo, you want to pop on real quick and we'll chat about it if you want. You're welcome to join me, Ronaldo. Just give me a thumbs up or tell me to foot sec, one of the two. Would you mind asking Steve about his view on anime? I'm going to talk to him about music. If he wants to talk about other things, then I'm happy to do that. Otherwise, would love to, but I have to join my lovely wife for supper. Oh my gosh. Me. Just eating, feeding your trough. Yeah. All right, Ronaldo. I get it. Yeah. They weren't taking any squatter camps yet. So could English and Afrikaans Republic could work? South Africa has the Rhodesians. You can't split South Africa because you'll never control the borders. Well, I don't know about that, Bruce, but I see your point. Take care, Ronaldo. Thanks for popping in. And thanks for nothing, sending your viewers over. No, it's Ronaldo, not Ronaldo, and Steve is not his father. That's fiction. A fan of Steve's writing. Yep, Steve. But with a sister that played Steve 24/7, top volume kind of guy. Yeah, no, I get you. That makes sense. You get tired of hearing the same thing. It's probably SABC, ANC stupidity. Well, there you have it, folks. That's the bottom line. We're up to 1,169 likes. If you're just tuning in now, be sure to hit the like button before you go anywhere. Ronaldo, make sure you hit the like button. And then, frankly, Francois F. Fourie, I'm guessing, gave a 40 Rand super chat. Colonel for president. I don't know about being president. 810 votes on this ambassador thing. Can we get some more? Can we get to 1,000? Wouldn't that be cool to get 1,000 votes on that poll? That would be super cool. Come on, guys. Get us to 1,000. Get us to 1,000. Was wondering if we could have a chat at some point about what Willem Kruger. Send me an email or a message which you want to chat about. I have people calling me at 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock in the morning, not respecting my time and demanding my attention. And I got somebody that was sending me a bunch of messages about the WhatsApp groups. This was strange. The gentleman sent me a bunch of messages about, and if you're here, I'm not exposing you are. You sent me a bunch of messages about WhatsApp groups complaining about what's going on in the WhatsApp groups. No free speech, none of this, none of that. And I'm like, okay, all right, well, I read your messages. I'm listening to them. And then I wrote back and it's just going on and on. Like, you don't care. What do you care? You read my message. I'm like, what in the world? What are you talking about? It's strange. There are some strange folks out there. He's got a date with Carter, says Bonnie. Paula says, I know more about South Africa than most citizens. Well, thank you so much. I respect you guys, too, for watching my program. Have a chat at some point. Can't wait to have Steve come on. Yeah, Steve should be interesting. So that's tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it on a Monday. Yeah, really surprised that Israel has not been more vocal against the ANC. Considering, well, Israel's a little bit busy with other issues. They've got some challenges right now. And they probably think stirring the tank is not helpful. Yep. So how are we doing now? We're up to 850 votes. I don't think we're going to get to 1,000. That's a ways off before we get to 1,000 votes on that poll. So I don't know if we're going to make it. But 852 votes. That's something. 1,198 likes. That's awesome. Now the likes outnumber the viewers on the program at the moment, which is pretty cool. What's power to South Africa? I've been everywhere in South Africa except Limpopo. I've been in Mpumalanga, I've been in the Northwest, I've been to the Northern Cape, the Eastern Cape, Western Cape, KZN, Gauteng. The only place I've never been is Limpopo. Never been. Don't have to have borders, deny promises, just self-governance and people making their own decisions. Subscribe. Yeah, feel folks, if you haven't subscribed, let me see if we gained any subscribers here today. Have we gained any subscribers? Let me see. Not many. We gained a couple subscribers. 1,000 people here must be regular viewers for the most part. Or they're just not chatting and there's, coming out. YouTube's analytics is taking forever to load up. Mandy, thank you for being here. Don't forget we have the refugee chat coming up at the top of the next hour. I'll take a short break and then I'll be up with that. So feel free to join us for the refugee chat if you'd like. That's coming up in the next hour. And that's the Cafe Clutch we do every week. We'll talk about things. I didn't say the Free State. Yes, I've been in the Free State. Sorry, I neglected. I mentioned 8 of the 9 provinces. My bad. Yeah, YouTube is being very difficult. Oh, now it finally loaded the analytics. Yep, there it is. Finally, we had a surge. We had 11,000 watch from 12 to 1. That's great, but could have been better. But that's pretty cool. Thank you for that, those 1,000 people. And we're doing better across the board in a lot of things this month on numbers for the channel. So thank you all for that. There's some more. Fabian just said, Chris from Baxter, 40 Rand, thank you. Ingrid says, my payday, a small thank you, maybe buying coffee. Well, 140 would definitely buy me a coffee. Thank you for that so much. I appreciate that. U.S. Embassy security alert in Tanzania. No information on it. May have been busy broadcasting. I haven't seen that, so thank you for that. 873 votes for that poll. We're down to 970, dropped under 1,000 people. What's up with that? Please show support by subscribing free of charge, and please press the like button. Thank you, Rudolph. That would be very helpful. Please subscribe to the channel, and please hit the like button. We really appreciate that. Super chats are lovely. Do appreciate. Monica Stridham, thank you for your subscription. Bye bye, donkey. Que à la bois. Que à la bois. What's the hilly jang, Monica? Eh? Kitsahili Sentley. All right, almost 900 votes, yes. Blackout. Matilda, you got no power? Please show support. There you go. Thank you very much. 1,200 likes now. You guys are rocking, man. I'm enjoying this so much. Let me hit the highlights before we wrap up here quickly again. Ramaphosa said, we were great hosts. Narendra Modi said, thank you for hosting the summit. It's your job, Cyril. But we're proudly South African in our hospitality. Well, that's going to stop the gender-based violence. Being proudly South African will restore the lights and fix the potholes and repair the ports and end the corruption and stop HIV and tuberculosis. No, it won't. Being proudly South African is a trait you should have all the time. Shouldn't matter. Shouldn't be something you should be, you're boasting about. Ridiculous. He said that we had an agreement. Yeah, you had an agreement on begging for debt relief and begging for the just energy transition, but you have no action. Let's see how many European countries follow through on their promises, their empty promises. All right? Cool beans. National debt. This gets so old, this debt thing. An international panel on inequality. Well, good luck with that. A panel isn't going to do anything. It is not a binding agreement. So I don't need a panel on inequality. I can tell you why the world's unequal. Culture and political policies are the reason the world is unequal. There's no reason for people. Hong Kong has no resources. But look how Hong Kong became a global powerhouse economically with no resources. Christoph Seal, thank you so much for your membership. Hong Kong, no resources, no gold, no diamonds, no nothing. And they became a global powerhouse. Now it's been eaten away and eroded. Malaysia, not a lot of resources, but some. Singapore, no resources, a city-state, a massively successful city-state. Tunisia, very little way of natural resources, virtually no petroleum or natural gas. Some agriculture, became a successful middle-income country. It's not a question of resources. It can be resources. It can be geography. All that can contribute. But you can be a country with none of that and be successful and not have poverty. There isn't grinding poverty in Iceland. No, there isn't. Iceland has nothing but geothermal power and fish. That's it. That's it. Iceland has no gold, no diamonds, no cobalt, no mines of any significance. It has geothermal power. That's about it. And it's located out of the way. Yet Iceland is a prosperous country because of culture and policies. That's the bottom line here, folks. Culture and policies. Weird animal facts to know. You are really late, man. What did Ramaphosa say? I just covered it again for the fourth time. He didn't say anything of note. If you find time, how about making a song for our guest, Steve? Yeah, well, yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe a song. Proud of what Ramaphosa. I am ashamed of the culture's corrupt and violent nature. Did you see another attack? Yeah, the Baltimore Limpopo thing has been mentioned. I have not covered it yet, though. How are we doing in the poll? 943 votes. Come on, folks. Get us to 1,000 votes in that poll. 1,000 votes in the poll. We're down to 95%. That means that almost 50 people don't want me to be the ambassador for minorities in South Africa. Wow. That's interesting. That's interesting. Some random thoughts on the arrest of South African Russian recruiters. All thoughts on that? They're all from one party. It makes me think this is more political than just that. Possibly. Mad Max gave 35 rand. He's got a link to something. Is this the New York Times? What's this? Oh, Sunday Times. Lose patience with bully. Sunday Times. They lose patience with the bully Trump. This is funny. Look at this. Ramaphosa prepared for short-term pain as government realized there's no point engaging with U.S. President. President Ramaphosa says President Donald has disdain for protocol, so much so that Praetorians now decided to confront Washington head-on with highly placed sources saying Ramaphosa had grown tired of trying to reason with a bully. In a move that is likely to collapse the tariff and trade negotiations. There are no tariff and trade negotiations collapse. That's a lie. Further strained relations. The Sunday Times can reveal that Ramaphosa's administration has given up on trying to fix its relationship. This is all just smoke and mirrors. They haven't tried to fix a relationship. They continue. I mean, mocking the president of the United States. That's how you're fixing a relationship. My goodness. Oh my goodness. This is just propaganda. Who wrote this garbage? Kohatso Madisa and Lizika Tandwa. Well, yeah, okay. Yeah, this is just nonsense. The world cannot allow this brazen disdain for rules and established norms of diplomatic engagement. The general disregard for rules is even being challenged in the U.S. Now it's being brought to global multilateral platforms. It cannot go unchallenged in global forum, Ramaphosa said. Well, you're the one with the brazen disregard for diplomatic norms, calling our senior diplomat and the president's personal representative a junior official. A junior official? Are you serious? Are you serious? Are you serious? You can't allow that precedent where it becomes acceptable regardless of where it emanates from. There's not going to be any soft response to this because for the longest time we've been measuring our response against lies. We've been measuring our response against attempts to humiliate the president when he's making an effort to reset the relationship. Wow. They are completely bonkers, man. They are completely bonkers. They have lost their mind. They have lost their mind. Who is insulting whom? It's unbelievable. And even against the mighty U.S., we will resist. We resisted against the might of colonialists. So that's what the U.S. is triggering out of us now. It doesn't mean that because of state power in the past 3 decades, we've lost that resistance. DNA is in us, said a source. We're going to resist this, understanding that resistance will invite some form of pain. We also know that pain will be short term. There's not going to be any soft response to this because for the longest time we've measured our response against, oh my goodness. Wow. What is likely to happen is the U.S. Secretary of State and the others will convince him that we need to take a different course, but they will be able to dangle a carrot, and that carrot is the Minister of International Relations. They can convince him to say, let's still include South Africa, but with limited participation. If the president sees it, they can declare Lamola. Well, Lamola is least likely to wind up over here. Thank you, Herman Ruiz, for the 35 rand. How you doing there? And Harry Muir, thank you for your membership. What are they talking about? Are they smoking crack cocaine in this story? They smoking crack cocaine. They think that that they'll invite Ronald. This is how disconnected they are, ladies and gentlemen. This is how disconnected from reality they are. Ronald Lamola has repeatedly called the president a white supremacist. He did so on a CNN broadcast, international, which precipitated Donald Trump saying what he said at the end of the summit. And they think that even if South Africa comes, Lamola won't be invited. He won't be allowed to come. That's insane. Insane. They are smoking crack cocaine. This is sick. This is twisted. These people have lost their marbles. They've lost their marbles. Unbelievable. They've lost their marbles. Wow. Lamola's comments during a CNN interview 2 weeks ago that the Trump administration was pursuing white supremacy have not gone down well with administration. He may serve as collateral damage, according to an insider. Yeah. Well, he's not alone. Montasha has threatened the United States. Fikile Mabalula has called the United States racist. We've seen also Vincent Mangwenya, Crispin Puri, and Cyril Ramaphosa. All these people have done it. A presidency official in Pretoria said the White House were to ban Lamola from attending its meeting. It would be pitting Ramaphosa against his minister. But more importantly, you're pitting the president against his party. Ronald is a senior ranking member of the ANC, is a minister of foreign affairs. And if Trump says, come to G20, but without your minister, he is dividing the political leadership of this country. Well, no, we're not. No, we're not. That has nothing to do with anything. That's just stupid comment there. But if you decide to ban Ronald, it's going to put the president in a very difficult position where he may end up not wanting to be subjected to it because the ANC will rally behind Ronald. It would work perfectly for Ronald's political ambitions of elevating him, so the president will have to consider the domestic implications. Yeah, the Sunday Times understands U.S. Business Chamber comments showing support for South Africa, going so far as to ask for a meeting with Ramaphosa after the summit. Ramaphosa was unable to attend the meeting, which is expected to be attended by 600 U.S. companies. Yeah, he's so interested in trade with the United States and repairing the relationship that he couldn't make a meeting with the 600 companies from the U.S., but he thanked them for being there. Trade negotiations are taking place at civil service level, and those discussions are far more rational than the public spats that are coming out of Washington. This is so dishonest. So dishonest. You say that, but you report factually that Ronald Lamola called Trump a white supremacist. So then you ignore that and say the spats. The spats are coming from South Africa. It's shocking to say the very least, folks. It's absolutely shocking. Shocking beyond belief. It's completely delusional. I mean, they are so arrogant, so hard-headed. For 25 years, we've put up with these insults, and we've given $8.1 billion to fight HIV. We've given $500 million in 20 years. That's $8 to $10 billion additional dollars. We've given South Africa between $16 and $20 billion in aid over the past 22 years. Yeah. And what have we got for it? This garbage. What has South Africa given to America? What have you given us? Don't say Elon Musk. You didn't give us. He went to Canada first. You didn't give us anything. Unbelievable. Sorry about the internet to SD Johnson. They're doing this and increasing their popularity under the black and white liberal voters. That's true. Exactly. You're right, Arctic. They're running on a hate Trump ticket. That's all they care about. See, all they care about is naked political power. They don't care about the suffering of South Africans. They are willing to destroy the relationship with America based on the perception that Trump is a racist and he hates black people, which they're fueling so they can get reelected in the next election. It's perverse. It's sick. It's absolutely sick. It's absolutely sick. But that's what's going on here, folks. That's what's going on here. It's sick. It's twisted. It's beyond comprehension. What happens to Lamola becomes the next president? Well, I mean, the guy is dumber than a box of rocks. I mean, he hasn't got the common sense that, a pissant has. I mean, it's beyond belief how stupid he is. And that's a fact. I mean, he's stupid. He knows the truth. He knows the facts, but he lies about it all the time. And also, this is the guy that, as the justice minister, said that, well, we couldn't get a constitutional amendment passed, so we'll steal their land by simply passing a law with our majority in parliament. Knowing full well as the minister of justice that that's illegal. It violates Section 25 of the South African Constitution. By the way, Marlise Brits, thank you for subscribing. Show me where I'm wrong about that. Show me where the expropriation without compensation doesn't violate Section 25 of the South African Constitution. And show me where the Constitution isn't the supreme law. Please, somebody, a learned scholar, an attorney, somebody, a pontificator, an ANC, an EFF, an MK member, please show me how I'm wrong about that. Tell me how that's disinformation. That's facts. Them's the facts, baby. Them's the facts. If you don't like the facts, too bad, but them's the facts. That's just the reality here. Wow. Elon abandoned this country like the rest of Afrikaners to send only us without enough money to leave remain. Well, and Johan Rupert is still there. So, guess what? Brent Hurst still without power 6 days now. Yesterday without water for 2 days. This is how we work. Where do we get the money? Huh. That's crazy, Iceberg. And Working People says, Chris Wyatt from Ambassador, thank you for that. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, guys. Yeah, Gary Player's still there too, but he's 90, so it's moving is right the best thing. In the end, they shall devour you, says Albert Schweitzer. Yeah, I think so. You should make a video about all the wrongdoing in South Africa over the years. I've done that before. Yep. Oh, Francis, you got to go. You got to go. The storm is bad. We must hold on tonight to our beds. Ramaphosa did not say apartheid once. Yeah, that's true. He never said apartheid. He never did. You're related to Johan Rupert, but you don't have Bugatti. Well, that's unfortunate. I guess he's being stingy with his money. Being stingy. Some congressmen said we shouldn't give money to people who hate us. They should hate us for free. Well, I think that was probably John Kennedy, a senator. He seems like a likely candidate. Gave Trump a golf book. Yeah, he's right. He gave him a golf book. That made it all better. That made it all better. How can a billionaire businessman running a country like South Africa not show anything of value, whereas a billionaire businessman running a country like the U.S. offers more value? Well, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. Maybe you and your country are part and parcel of ZA's crap. The elders of Boer knew what was happening. Wow. What planet are you coming in from there, buddy? Are you deaf, dumb, and stupid, or just an asshole? Which one is it there? I'm part of the ANC's crap? Wow. That's pretty interesting. Ilhus Czar 960. Wow. So I'm part of South Africa's crap, really. Well, thank you for sharing that. I appreciate your opinion. It's about worth as much as, I don't know. It's about worth as much as maybe these 10 rand. That's a 20 rand. Okay, I'll give it more value. So it's worth 20 rand. There you go. So that's $1.03. Yeah, thank you for sharing. Oh my goodness. Wow. That's crazy. So 1,141 votes on that thing. Anyway, so the poll's still getting some votes. That's nice to see. Yeah, it's crazy, folks. I mean, wow. Wow, that's... Anyway, so look, this is a big nothing burger, as Hillary Clinton likes to call it. This speech, he could have just said, listen, we had a G20 summit. We were successful. No major security incidents occurred. The diplomats came. We hosted the summit. We got together. This is a culmination of 1 year of the South African presidency. We ended it. Unfortunately, the United States did not attend. They disagreed with our policies and our approach to this, but hopefully we can come to some sort of agreement. And that should have been it. But no, he chose to threaten South Africans who were spreading disinformation while he was spewing disinformation from the pulpit there, telling us that South Africa's credit ratings improved, but failing to note that it's still junk bond status. Telling us that their budget is firmed up when they just borrowed $1.4 billion from the World Bank to firm up that budget. Telling me the green shoots of economic recovery when GDP growth is 0.5% this year, less than inflation, less than population growth. It's unbelievable. So the disinformation is coming from the president himself, not from AfriForum or Solidarity or from the news media that report the facts. Gender-based violence is still a scourge in South Africa. You still have collapsing infrastructure. You still have 27,000 murders per year, potholes, the taxi industry controlled by gangsters, and the construction industry controlled by the mafia. And you have 8.5 million people who are infected with HIV, the world's largest HIV population. You have 600,000 plus people living with tuberculosis, and you have about half of them living with co-infection of HIV and tuberculosis, a toxic, deadly mix. And you have cholera and Hammanskraal. Unbelievable. 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 It's just shocking to see this. Have you seen a great cultural example of taxis we have here? Yeah, I've seen the taxis. And no, it doesn't include all South Africans, that's for sure. Why can't we revive African states under American rule? Well, because we're not really interested as a country, and he highlights it. Let me see. So he went to Twitter. As a country, we are aware that the stance taken by the U.S. administration is influenced by a sustained campaign of disinformation by groups and individuals within our country and U.S. Wow. Yep. His address to the nation. And he actually highlights that. So let me zoom in on that. That's what Mad Max just gave a super chat for. So this is what Ramaphosa just said on Twitter. As a country, we're aware that the stance taken by the U.S. administration has been influenced by a sustained campaign of disinformation by groups and individuals within our country, in the U.S. and elsewhere. No. We're simply reporting the data that the South African government reports and telling the truth. Wow, that's shocking to say the very least. Shocking. Well, that's not going to go over very well in America. Wow. Yeah, ANC ranks 16th most corrupt organization in the world. Yeah, let's look at some of the comments coming in from people on that, folks. So, Tommy Robinson posted and says Trump boycotts G20, tells them they won't get an invitation. As the rest of the world's leaders turn a blind eye, Trump takes a stand. And look at that. Kill the boar. There you go. There you go. The EFF lying to President Trump. ANC ranks 16th most corrupt organization out of 7,000 organizations worldwide. And J.S. Bond says, nonsense, you're pushing your very disinformation right now. The U.S. has made it clear from the beginning what their concerns are. It's nothing to do with any groups that visit them. It's all ANC policies. Exactly right. Let me retweet that. He's right. You're a liar and a cheat. USA is the best spy network in the world. They don't need Offer Connors to inform them what's happening. You're a liar and a crook. Yep. Yep, here's the real reason. Well, this is part of it. Lady R. Lamola. Is that my tweet? It looks like something. No, that's not me. T and Esteisen. Lamola calling Trump white supremacist. Open line with Russia, China, Iran. ANC engagement with Iran. ICG case. Motion downgrade Israel's embassy. Also Taiwan. Telling Taiwan to downgrade theirs to a trade mission. You know, why don't you arrest those groups for treason? We have pathetically weak government, says Nyambosa. Well, Nyambosa, you're confused. Absolute rubbish. This disinformation has gone on long enough, which is then perpetrated by a few in the ANC and fed to the media. The argument is between you and Trump. As a leader and man, go to USA and talk it out man to man. He'll probably have more respect for you. Yeah, and the list goes on and on. So he is not, he is really not. Obvious bollocks. That's good. I didn't see that one before. Yeah. Start here. There you go. Yeah, most of the comments are not going Cyril's way. Most of them are not going Cyril's way. Yes, I know. SAPS opened a new division of public relations for criminals at all police stations. Trump would phone Cyril and tell him what color his underwear is. SAPS has just opened a new division. Okay, 6 say no, 2% more than their pass rate. Oh, yeah, so the ambassador thing is dropping for me. Wow, I should close it before it gets worse. 1,230 votes. Marco Rubio will eat Ronald Lamola for breakfast. Yep. By getting as many people as depend on government is how they push communism. What else we got here? Where affordable place for us to immigrate is in Africa or South Africa. Affordable place. There aren't many affordable places left in the world because of Biden's 4 years of destroying the global economy. 13 white farm attacks, 4 murdered white farmers for November 2025. Brutal attack, an elderly couple, and 29th man passed away, wife in critical condition. Yep. If the murder capital of the world has the spirit of Ubuntu, then we need to ask serious questions about Ubuntu. That's probably the smartest statement I've heard there, Yaku. If the murder capital of the world has the spirit of Ubuntu, then we must ask. I'm going to use that. Thank you. Yep. And Utopi's off work tomorrow. All right, have a good day tomorrow, Utopi. And for the folks who've tuned in, who've hit that like button, thank you. 1,378 likes. We also got almost 1,300 votes on the ambassador question. Thank you so much. Are you going to cover the NEDLAC talks on Thursday about the new proposed firearms bill? I've already addressed that with Gideon Joubert Paratis. We did an interview with him on Thursday. You can go back and watch the interview. We talk about that. So I'm not really sure what watching it will improve. I'll just read the outcome of it. It doesn't make much sense to watch it. Yep. Here, Marco Rubio is a fussy eater. I don't know about that, but be sure to hit the like button, folks, if you haven't done it already. To 905 people currently here watching the program, I'm very grateful to the 15,682 who popped in at some point or another, and to the 5% who voted against me being nominated to be the ambassador for minorities in South Africa. Thank you for your opinion. For the 95% now who voted in favor, thank you very much for your endorsement. Don't forget, Steve Holfmeyer will be on the program tomorrow, and in 15 minutes we'll have the Cafe Clutch talking to refugees, refugee aspirants, and those just curious about the program. Rian Kalp just gave 140 Rand Super Chat. Thank you for that. How are the views on your videos this week? Views on my videos this week were not great. Let me take a look at the stats. They were okay. So this week we go back to, where do we go to the week? So this week we go back to the 24th. Let me go back to 24th of November. Oh, if I go back to 24th, it's pretty good. 24th, 42,000, 10,000, 33,000, 17,000, 18,000, 8,500, 19,000, 45,000, 17,000, 28,000, 7,000, and 10,000. But the lives have been off the charts good, and I thank you all for that. 2,200, 4,400, 42,000. For the one I did about the police arresting those guys. That's a great live stream there. 5,500 5,300, 2,700. That's the night owls, the 2,700. 7,000, 5,000, 4,000, 4,000, 5,300, 3,000. These are pretty darn good. And 5,900, 3,500, and that goes back a week. So yeah, that's a lot. It's great, and I appreciate that, folks. And thanks for those who tolerate the commercials. That helps a lot. Joe, Texas, $5. Is it normal to enjoy the failure of the ANC? No, I don't enjoy it at all. I feel sad for South Africans. See the late Desmond Tutu explanation of Ubuntu. Fellow South Africans, it's all a script. Government is paid puppets. Soon one government will be implemented under the anarchy. Well, that's a scary thought there. Government got zero idea of U.S. intelligence with receipts. And hope our flights come up soon, says Rian Kalp. Thank you for that. Okay, Rikus, anyone's going to hang around? It'll be a few minutes. Wow, it's been a long chat. It has been a long chat. It's been a long day so far, and we're not over yet. I've been at this for 3 hours broadcasting plus 3 hours of preparing for the broadcast. See you in a couple minutes. Okay, Rudolph was able to hype some of your videos. Thank you, Freya. Oh, thank you for those who can hype the videos. I appreciate that. Ambassador Colonel Chris Wyatt, I think that's the title. It can work. Is it okay to share your... Yes, you may share it on your Facebook page, Pauline, but be careful you don't get banned. The YouTube, they don't always like that. Saw a video of Pete Higgs saying, and to our enemies, FAFO, and if you don't get that, our troops are willing to explain to you. I didn't see that. That'd be great to see. Everybody take a break, hit the bathroom, and we're going to wrap it up here. Average view time, 7 minutes, 22 seconds, which is impressive. 15,960 people here, currently 865 viewers, 1,425 likes, and some nice super chat revenue came in as well. I'm going to close the poll now at 1285. Thank you for that. Oh, it went back to 6%. Well, thank you for that. There you go. So I'll send it to Rob Hersoff because it was his suggestion. Yeah, there you go. I need to do that again because it didn't come out so well. And there's another super chat coming up there. Let me see what that one is. I keep getting the corners on there. I need to fix that. Downloads. There we go. All right. What was that super chat? That was Jean Spence. There's one thing I noticed in Paula's speech. He thanks security services, but sure that does not include SAPs. Yeah, no doubt about that. All righty, guys. We'll see you shortly there. Okay. 1,285 votes. All righty. All this madness. There's a lot of madness. We'll see you shortly on the Cafe Clutch in 10 minutes now. I got to drop off here. Thanks, everybody. Be sure to the like button. We got 16,000 tuned in now. Pretty cool. Feel free to watch it after the fact. Go back and watch it again. Enjoy it as much as you like. Really appreciate everybody being here. And where the heck is my closing video? It's down here somewhere. Okay, videos to show. Closing video. There it is. All right. See you guys shortly. Bye-bye.